If you're watching this video to prepare for a test or an exam, you're doing exactly the right thing, because as well as learning the actual knowledge, it's really important you do some exam question practice. So question 1, look at the results table. A tick indicates that a reaction took place, whereas a cross indicates there was no reaction. Now for each of these questions I'm going to pause and let you have a go yourself and then resume the video. So the question is, use the results to place these three halogens in order of reactivity from most reactive to least reactive. So we can see that chlorine reacts in two of the reactions, bromine reacts in one of them, and iodine doesn't react at all in this case. So the order from most to least is chlorine, bromine, iodine. Question B, what is the reactivity trend in group 7? So how does the reactivity change as you go down the group? So we can see as you go down group 7, the halogens get less reactive. This question says look at the following equations. So we've got bromine and potassium iodide reacting to make potassium bromide and iodine, whereas bromine and potassium chloride gives no reaction. And the question is, use your knowledge of the reactivity of the halogens to explain why bromine will react with potassium iodide, but it won't react with potassium chloride. So in the first equation, we can see bromine is more reactive than iodine. It's higher up group 7, so it can displace iodine. It takes the place of iodine. However, bromine is less reactive than chlorine, so it cannot displace chlorine. If you're finding these videos helpful, please give it a like. So question C, write the word equation for the reaction of chlorine and potassium iodide. And then question D is writing the balance symbol equation for the same reaction. The word equation, the reactants go on the left, so we've got chlorine and potassium iodide, and then that turns into potassium chloride and iodine. Notice how when the halogen is joined to something else, it changes its name to end in "ide", whereas when it's on its own, it ends in "ene". Now the balance symbol equation, you get your first mark for writing the formula. We need to remember that the halogens are diatomic molecules. That means they go round in pairs. So we can see chlorine is Cl2 and iodine is I2. So chlorine is Cl2 plus potassium iodide Ki, potassium chloride is KCl, and iodine is I2. So that would get you your first mark on an exam paper. And the second mark is for balancing the equation. So we can see we've got two chlorines on the left, so we need two on the right. We can't change the small numbers, all we can do is put large numbers in front of the formulas. So we need to put a 2 in front of the KCl. So we've now got two chlorines on the right, but we've also got two potassiums, two Ks on the right now. So we need 2 on the left. So we'll also put a big 2 on the left. If you need a reminder about balancing equations, I'll put a link up to one of my previous videos now. Question E. Explain why fluorine is more reactive than chlorine by referring to their electronic structures. So first of all, I'd find a little bit of room on your exam paper and draw those two electronic structures. And we can see they both need one more electron to get a full outer shell and be stable. So here's that extra electron they're trying to gain. And we can see with fluorine, it's closer to the positive nucleus that's trying to attract it, whereas chlorine is further away. So how do we get 3 marks? Well, we need to say as you go down the group, the atoms get bigger. The extra electron is further from the nucleus. There's also more shielding by the inner shells as you go further down the group. There's more shells in the way between the nucleus and that extra electron. That means that there's going to be less attraction between the nucleus and the extra electron. So it becomes harder to gain that extra electron, and that's why they become less reactive going down the group. Question 2 is looking at the physical properties of the halogens, and we've got a table of melting points and boiling points. So question A says describe the trend in melting points as you go down the group, and question B is explain the trend. So first of all, trend means how do things change as you're going down the group. The word describe means what's happening, whereas explain means why is it happening. So describing first of all, we can say as you go down the group, the melting point increases. The numbers might look like they're getting smaller, but they're actually negative numbers, so we're getting closer towards zero. That melting point is getting higher. And then explaining the trend, why does the melting point increase going down the group? We can say that as you go down the group, the molecules get larger and the forces between the molecules get stronger. You could also add on there that that means it's going to take more energy to overcome those stronger forces. This is a question that many people find tricky. So you're given a table of melting points and boiling points and you're asked what state something would be at room temperature. In this case, we're being asked what the state of chlorine would be at room temperature. So would it be a solid, liquid or gas? Now my first tip is draw yourself a number line on your exam paper. And here I've gone from minus 150 to 0 and then up to 100. And we're going to mark on it the melting point of chlorine, which is minus 101. Then we're going to mark on it the boiling point of chlorine, which is minus 35. And that means that if we had chlorine at a really cold temperature like minus 150 and then gradually warm it up, when it gets to minus 101 and reaches its melting point, it would then melt into a liquid. If we carried on heating it up, when it gets to its boiling point of minus 35, it would then turn into a gas. And any temperatures above that boiling point, it would be a gas. So if we now mark on it where room temperature is, we can see that room temperature is warm enough to turn chlorine from a liquid into a gas, so chlorine would be a gas. If you found this video useful, please remember to subscribe to my channel and then you won't miss out on future videos. Thank you for watching.